Hi everyone, this is Misha from Made Up Research, and today I want to talk about my favorite products, I don't know, over like the past couple weeks. Let's go. Let's start with skincare first because I'm going to be doing my makeup a little bit. And the first thing I want to talk about is the K-Secret Seoul 1988 Essence with 97% snail mucin and rice extract, which is supposed to be helping with hydration, soothing, moisture, elasticity, and also wrinkles and pigmentation care for the rice. Now, listen, this, as these usually are super slimy in like the best way possible. I think it's one of the most lightweight snail mucin products I've ever used. The Cosrx one I did like, but it was a little bit too thick for me. This one is way thinner for some reason, and it just agrees a bit better with my skin. So this is what I usually put on most of the time in the evening, actually. And it does make you look like a glowy goddess. So that is like my skincare pick of the month for sure. One of the better products I bought recently. Next, I want to talk about a foundation. I'm not going to be using primer because I feel like I'm already primed enough. This foundation did get like a little bit viral a while back, but I wasn't really into it until I kind of like saw, everything about it. So this is the Entropy Organza Fit Spatula Foundation. Like the one thing about this is that it comes in like 3 shades or something. It's very like not inclusive, but it is supposed to be looking like second skin. Like a medium coverage, demi-matte, absolutely just vanishes into your face. Super long wearing, and also it's supposed to have some antioxidants and some anti-aging ingredients too. So you do get some like nice things in it. But what I was mostly excited about was the finish, because I love a good lightweight foundation. As you can hear, it's very liquidy. So you have to shake it a bit. Then you open it up and then you have the spatula in. Oh, it is leaking a little bit around it. Like it's not the least messy foundation that I have. And then you got the spatula with kind of the perfect amount. I usually do like another dip for the rest of my face. But look at how freaking satisfying this is. Like, damn. Whee! And then I usually go in for another dip and I do the same thing kind of on my forehead, my nose, and a bit of my chin. Before you come for me and tell me this is not hygienic, I don't know, man. I didn't create this. I just like using it. I'm going to be taking a foundation brush and just blending this in. It is an incredibly lightweight formula. I really like it. Quite frankly, it is one of the foundations that I keep reaching for recently, like every day, even though it's summer. It just always matches the vibe. Like you can go as light or as heavy as you want with anything on top. So it's just one of those foundations that gives you like a wonderful base, either for like a super just low-key lightweight look or for like a full glam if you decide to do so. So I'm in love with this. It works so well for me. Just in case you want to know, I have the shade, I don't know which shade I have. I'm going to put the shade name into the description because I don't see it here on the bottle, but I'm sure it's going to be in the order. See how gorgeous that is? Like, I feel like this doesn't even look like I'm wearing a foundation. But at the same time, it just makes you look so nice. Another product that I want to talk about is actually an eyeshadow primer. And I don't usually gravitate towards, drugstore eyeshadow primers. It's a shame, I hate to say it, but it's true. Because they usually just don't last that well. But this one from Wet n Wild, the megalast eyeshadow primer, is actually incredible. And I sometimes have a hard time removing it from my hand after I apply my makeup. So as you can see, it is like a very creamy primer consistency, and it's like not the most, it doesn't seem like it's gonna be a good primer. But once you put it on and it does get a little bit drier, it starts to get like really nice and tacky and almost like hardened. It's really hard to explain, but I usually just grab like a sponge or a brush and just really work it in my eyelid. And because it's a little bit tinted, it does kind of cancel out any veins, but also it really does make the eyeshadows pop and last really, really well. So if you're looking for like a nice affordable primer for your eyeshadow, I would say this one is a good one to give a try, because at least it's not bad. I feel like a lot of people get confused by eyeshadow primers. They pick a random one, it's not a good one, and everything just goes to hell. And they go back to using concealer, which is not really working well either. So this one, I would say, is one of the better choices if you want to try an eyeshadow base. Alright, so I did a little base for like a smudgy liner. This is from Made by Mitchell, as the packaging kind of says. And this is the gel liner in the shade Crushem. There's a bunch of shades in this liner, but this one in particular is a dark, cool toned brown, which is something that I never thought I'd see in a pot liner, because I love cool tone brown as a mascara, as an eyeshadow, as a liner, but it's so hard to get, you know, like a brown liner that is not warm. So I was super excited to try it, and the formula is on point. I'm gonna pick up just a regular liner brush that has been cleaned, it's a bit stained, but it is like a nice thick gel formula you maybe cannot really see. And once you work it onto your brush, you just kind of wipe off the excess on the edge of the pot, and then top down, and then the edges again, and you get this like very saturated, very thin tip. And now you can just kind of draw along your lash line as messy or as neat as you want. You can absolutely do like a regular cat eye with this, but what I like to do is just place it on like this, then pick up like a nice thin but slightly fluffy brush and like really go in, and it's gonna add so much depth to this like smoky liner look, you know. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. And you can see that this added like so much depth and dimension to this very simple smoky eye. Now, one thing that I love about this is that it smudges beautifully, but it doesn't lose its opacity. But you can also apply it like very thick, very like there as like a regular liquid liner, and it's gonna stay on perfectly fine. If you smudge it, it's also gonna stay on perfectly fine, but you get this like very smoky, very messy look. Love it. And now it's time for me to show you my new favorite mascara. This is the very new Max Factor Long Lash Era. It's part of their like 2000 calorie mascaras, which are promising, of course, thick lashes. But this one is also supposed to be like very lengthening, and it's a tubing mascara. Finally, drugstore is coming out with tubing mascaras. The brush looks like this. It's plasticky. It is not very flexible actually, but you know, I can survive a lot for a good tubing mascara. So what I really like about this one is the effect it gives me. So I usually use the dip in the brush to just distribute the mascara as much as I can. And then for the second round, I dip again, let it sit for a bit. And then I go in with like the upper arch, and I try to like push from the bottom. Sometimes I stab myself into the eye, and that is okay, but just try not to do it. And listen, I admit my lashes are not the best in the world. In fact, they're quite difficult to work with. But look at the difference. Like, I think it's pretty huge difference if I look up. I think it looks great. And what is also really nice about it is the lasting power. So, as usual, tubing mascaras last really well on me. This one is fairly new, so that is why it's making all these marks around my eyes. But I do know that I like it a lot already, even though I've worn it for only a few weeks, because it just doesn't smudge. I mean, the formula is a bit more wet than it, you know, could be, but I think it's going to dry out a little bit in a while, and then it's going to be perfect. I have 2 more products left, and they're both for the lips. So first I want to talk about the Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil Extreme. This is a waterproof version of their Whatever Walnut pencil. Did I buy this just because I saw Renee Rapp talk about it in a video? Absolutely. But I totally love it. How gorgeous is this color? Super stunning, and it lasts so freaking well. And the last product I want to talk about is the New Rare Beauty Lip Gloss. I did buy this pretty much blindly, just because I heard a lot of people talk about it and saying it's like one of the best gloss formulas they've ever tried. I'm a sucker for a good gloss. I have the shade Spark, which I think is one of the darkest shades. It is like a dark nude with orangey pink reflects. I wasn't sure I'm gonna like it when I first saw it, but honestly, this is truly one of the best gloss formulas I ever tried. And it matches so well with this lip liner, it should be illegal. It's a very similar formula to the Fenty Gloss Bombs, but a little bit thinner, I think. And it smells fruity, it smells delicious, it's just so good. Look at this. I feel like it makes your lips so juicy and big and plump and just beautiful. And that is all I wanted to tell you. So those were my favorite products across, a few couple months that I cannot stop using no matter how hard I try. I cannot. I like this look though. I kind of want to go somewhere now. Anyway, like this video if you enjoyed this little rundown of my recent favorites, and subscribe to the channel if you want to see more, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!